Hey there, viewers! A Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Age of the Prime's Micronus Prime. Now, this is kind of a unique figure because, well, as you can see, we got two bits of him. And that's because this is kind of a small figure in armor. Because we have this little bit, which is Micronus himself, and we have this big unicycle, I guess, which forms armor. So that's kind of cool. So, yeah. But anyway, looking at the box. Of course, we've got the standard Age of the Primes packaging here. So, of course, we've got Micronus in both modes. We can see him leaping out the armor. And we can see that he actually can ride this motorcycle thing. It's pretty cool. Of course, got his name. It's on gold because he's one of the 13. 22 steps. Here we got a picture of Micronus. This side, I've got a picture of him. Same size as the other primes, apparently. Okay. The back, we got him in, I guess, all three modes, technically, because we got the motorcycle, we've got the armor here, and we've got Micronus himself. He's just a little tiny goober. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for the box. And for the actual figure, or I guess figures, so yeah, technically it's a 2-in-1. I should probably move these down to help stand them up, cycle up better. So yeah, so we've got the cycle here, which is the Apex armor from Prime, which is pretty cool. And we got Micronus himself, which is one of the freaking Minicon panels from Armada. Like, if you can look closely, that's the freaking Minicon symbol, which he transforms into one of the Minicon stasis things from Armada. Like, that's amazing. Or, I mean, I guess it could be a hockey puck. It's really up to you. But yeah, it's just a small disc made out of clear plastic, which means, yeah, maybe be a bit careful with him. It's kind of like a legacy eject. So, yeah, be careful with him. But looking at Micronus here, we can see the sort of Minicon symbol that kind of looks like a Minicon port. It doesn't function like one, but kind of looks like a Minicon port. The back, obviously, that's just Kibble City, but you can plug them onto a figure if you want. And of course, you can drop him. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this little disc mode. So let's just get him transformed. So what we do is we take the legs, just transform them. Come on. I want to try and be careful because, of course, this is clear plastic and I do not want any breakages. That's the legs all down. We've got the arms, which they just move out. Head spins around. Shoulders move up. Arms move down. And he's kind of got long gorilla arms, but it's fine. And here we have Micronus in robot mode, or his standard robot mode. You know, Micronus himself. And honestly, I do kind of like it. Like, it's meant to resemble how he looks in RID 15, because I think there were some scenes in the show where he's talking to Prime. Like, he was the Prime of that show. So this is meant to be how he looks in RID 15. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. Of course, we've got some ball joints here. And not really much to say here. Like, we've got a port on the back to plug him into something. Articulation is basic. Like, the head can move around. He can look up. Shoulders here. He can T-pose. There's ball joints at the elbows. These can swivel at the waist. He can kick forward, he can kick back, and do the splits. And the spines can swivel. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Micronus himself. But of course, that's only like half of what he does, because of course, we've got the little motorcycle here. And what he can do, like rotate these, try and split the legs. Now there's some little ports here that, and there's some tabs on the legs that these are meant to tab in, which is kind of fiddly to do. And I'm probably actually doing this wrong. Knowing me, I'm probably doing this wrong. But once you have him sort of like slotted in, of course, we can just have him grasp onto the handlebars, which, come on. And that's pretty much how he mainly holds on, like. And he can literally ride the motorcycle, which I think looks amazing. Like, this is the intended vehicle mode, where he's riding this weird big unicycle motorbike thing. So, this is the intended vehicle mode, which I think looks... I mean, it's funny, but I think it looks cool. And of course, you're meant to have these facing back, so they're like exhaust pipes, but then he's like trying to do some kind of wheelie or something, but still. And the wheel can roll, so there's that. See, it does roll. And this wheel is the entirety of the legs, which is kind of, well, that's a unique transformation, I'll give it that. But anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. Like, yeah, we've got the wheel there, we've got the exhaust, we've got Micronus right here. We've got the handlebars. Yeah, that's honestly kind of a unique vehicle mode. I mean, I'm pretty sure these don't take blast effects. No, they don't, unfortunately. Like, they look like guns in the full-on armor mode, but they don't take blast effects, unfortunately. But anyway, putting him next to the other Micronus figure, here is the power of the Primus Micronus, or Cloudburst, if you will. Because yeah, I do have both Power of the Primus, Legion Maximo, and Micronus. They were like in a shop, just shelf warming. So yeah. But honestly, I think that this new Micronus just knocks this one out the water. Like, yeah, this one can do like a cool gun mode, I guess. But honestly, this one has a cool motorcycle, unicycle mode. So, plus with the smaller robots, again, I think this one looks way better. So yeah. Now, just before we move on, let's talk about his accessory or his artifact. Which again, it's easy to drop, but here it is. Which I'm pretty sure is the, if I remember correctly, it's called the Chimera Stone. But it's essentially another tiny like hockey puck with a symbol right there in the middle. So yeah. I mean, storage, it can go in here. I can just try and wind this up. And that just forms like the core of the chest. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the bike mode. So let's move on to the full-on like Apex armor mode. So trying to get him off. Now, what you're meant to do is transform this guy back into his disc mode. So, transforming him back. And yeah, this is quite simple because this is pretty much like a core class figure, this little guy. I mean, hell, if Age of Primes was still doing core class, I'm sure they would have just released this guy as a core class. But, alas. Anyway, for this guy's, well, I say this guy, this thing's, like, transformation, what we're going to do is straighten out these and parts forming! Yeah, we actually have to take it apart. So it's like the weaponizers of old. I mean, technically weaponizers never really went away because we've had like fossilizers and junkions and rockizers and all that. I can't remember the armorizers. I think that was the name. But this is the first time that this is the first time that parts forming's been involved in the transformation since like the fossilizers. So yeah, what you do is you take these side bits off, and you take the wheel off. Like, hang on. There we go. So now we're left with all this. So what we're going to do. So here we have RTF Jetfire's father. And I guess you can have some fun with this, but what we're going to do is transform this. And in fact, what we're going to do first is the full-on, like, armor mode. Because, yep, like the weaponizers, you can't put this on other figures. So what we're going to do is flip out this, like, peg. And this forms a shield that you can just plug on. If I can actually get this to plug on. There we go. So we got this huge, like, freaking wheel shield right there. These, we just fold these back up. And if the figure has, like, the ports on the legs, well, these just plug right on here. And it's currently pounding with rain for me right now. So we've got this going on. And finally with the backpack. So we're just going to take this. Open these up. Take this little section here with these spinny parts where the wheel was. Open these up. And all this is just going to go in the back. It's meant to go in this way, but seeing how that's quite low down, let's try and plug this all in the other way. I just picked Silver Street because that was the first figure I found. So yeah, here we have them all armored up. Probably could have picked a better figure, but I just picked the first one off my shelf that I found. And, I mean, sure. Probably not going to use this again. Like, there's weaponizers that have other, like, there's weaponizers that have, like, better loadouts, in my opinion. Like, Shakespeare's got a full-on, like, gauntlet mode, for example. So, let's just take all of this off. But anyway, to fully do this transformation, we're going to take this wheel and just split it apart, folding that like peg. Take these bits, fold these up. Like so. And now we've got a pair of legs. With this, I'm just going to try and slot this in. So I can remember how it goes in. Yeah, there we go. So just going to get these little spinny bits out the way. Take these little bits and move them down. Get the head up. Close up the chest. Plug in the arms. And in fact, what the instructions want you to do is take Micronus here and just plug them in here. There we go. So he's now like piloting this suit of armor, I guess. But anyway, here we have Micronus in robot mode. Or, I guess, armored robot mode. And honestly, this is kind of goofy. I freaking love it. Like, obviously, they couldn't sell just the tiny robot himself for £24. And since Core Class is dead, they had to think of something to make it worth the price. And honestly, I think this is a pretty good idea. So, yeah. So this is like a bit of... I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the Apex armor from Prime, or at least based on... Like, I think this is based on it at the very least. Anyway. Got these little spinny things which the wheel attached onto to help it like move. So now I've got this head which kind of... I'm trying to think of who this reminds me of. It's like the mini boss from the first year. Like the toys kind of look like this, which is the mouth plate and visor. And of course, the hands aren't really hands; they're more a thumb and some gunners. Although, as I stated, you can't really plug in blast effects. So, yeah. Now, of course, the artifact does just line the chest. Please try to have it straight, because otherwise the insignia is going to be all like lopsided. Come on. There we go. So yeah, of course, with like the Chimera Stone just right there is like a Iron Man chest core. And putting him next to the Power of the Primes Micronus, yeah, I definitely prefer this one. Makes me wonder what the Legion Maxima is going to be like. So, yeah. But, anyway. For this guy's articulation, well, the head can go side to side. Well, it's kind of tight. Ugh, come on. But yeah, it can go side to side. It can kind of go down. Arms, of course, they can detach, but they can move, just due to the fact that they're on a separate bit. He can't T-pose. elbows, bicep rotation, wrist rotation, waist. I don't think. No, there's no waist. But he can kick forward, he can kick back. Knees, which are pretty cool because, like, this bit doesn't really move, so when you move the knee, it doesn't really create a weird gap. See? That's pretty cool. You can do the splits, and there's an ankle pivot. So yeah, you can get some good poses. And of course, you can open the chest, pop out the actual Micronus himself, and you can pose him like he's jumping out and transforming. So yeah. And if anything, Micronus himself kind of reminds me of the data discs from the full Cybertron line. You know, when they made like Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage and all that little circle dudes. That's what this is kind of reminding me of. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I've got to say. So, complaints. Well, the fact that Micronus himself is translucent plastic could be a bit of a hazard, because this guy could crack and break, so be careful. Also, just the fact that bits can come off, like the arms, means that it might be tricky to find this guy complete in a couple of years' time, so just be careful. Also, the way that the wheel becomes the legs, I do find it cool. It's just, it can be a bit fiddly trying to figure out how it folds up. That's probably just me. Because for me, he's not really the best Prime, but I still think that this is a fun figure. Would I recommend him? I mean, sure, because it is a fun desk toy at the very least. So there's that. So, this has been my review on Age of the Prime's Micronus Prime, and this is a Transformers fan signing off.